Hey everyone, this is part 2 of our talk with Lyndon Laveaux on the Moxie Press podcast. If you haven't listened to part 1, please go back, find it, and give that a listen. It's a great talk. We talked a lot, so we split it into 2 parts for you. And if you want to keep up with everything we're doing with this podcast, please subscribe on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts or Podbean or Spotify, wherever you can find us. Otherwise, enjoy.
Because I think about like friends like you guys. You guys have kids.
Yeah.
I think about I've got nephews. I've got nieces. It's like I think about what world are we leaving them,
Yes. Yeah.
and they're watching us because kids learn from the adults, whether like consciously or unconsciously. So what are we teaching our children? What are we saying about each other? What are we okay? What are we okay? And you got to ask, are you okay with that? And I'm not. Like I told myself, if this shit becomes Handmaid's Tale, I'm the first on the wall. Like it's been a good life. I've had great sex. It's been a wrap. You know what I mean? Like, so that's how I feel about that.
About that a lot here too. Like, what example? Like, what are we setting for our kids, and like, how much do we, really put forth like things like climate, like I mean, like in the future, like what are we doing to actually say that like we tried? We know it's hard for only 2 people, but we tried
Yeah.
to do
And
something.
and also, what's because again, being able to see past yourself, because so like when you talk about the climate change, a lot of people go, one, I think a lot of people sort of like, okay, I'll use Ann Coulter. I think Ann Coulter's the devil, but I think she's aware of what she's doing. I think she's very aware of what she's doing. That's why she's the fucking devil. You know
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
the thing. Yeah, she's
Yeah, it's like,
here's the thing couch. She's like,
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, there are plenty of smart people. There's the Candace Owens, brilliant mind, but you're very aware of what you're doing. You're very aware. You're very aware. You're brilliant. Like,
I have in the last couple days seen a couple things that she has like written on Twitter and been like, oh, I might.
see?
Candace Owens, yeah, she said something
See?
about yeah, she said something about JFK or the it was like something about the Vietnam War and like connecting it, and I was like, girl, you're getting real close, and I am like proud of you, and I was like, whoa.
See? And the thing is,
go in like that circle. Like eventually, some of them get so far that they end
That
up
they
getting
come
like
back around.
close to
Yeah.
the truth.
yeah, dude. And it's,
Crazy
and
people get enough crazy that they like someone. Oh, you might be onto something.
like, there are times like, because some of the things I get privilege of, like behind the industry stuff, like when you hear Kanye speak on things, you're like, well, like, yeah, yeah, but your delivery, dog, like, you know what I mean?
Just
Like,
says he wants to buy the world, and you're like, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. We're watching brilliant people make choices.
Yes.
Brilliant people make choices, and because I don't think, like, one, she's always going to be a black woman, so that's the experience. I'm never going to take that away from her. So I'm going to respect her opinion. I'm never going to be like, shut the fuck up. But it's just like, I'd rather you just be honest. Look, I'm aware of my bullshit, but I'm getting paid. I don't want to be like, you know what? All right, like, you know what I mean? But it's like, because the thing is, there are going to be people who treat it as gospel,
Right.
Yeah.
and the wrong idiot will do the dumbest things. You know what I mean? Like you take a Trumper, or you take someone who's extremely on the left. And anybody can take an idea and fly with it. You know what I mean? That's why us in media, us in the arts, like, we have to be aware of what we say. You know what I mean? What we think, because people will treat it as gospel. So it's like, if you see someone not treating their responsibility recklessly, I think it's okay to, like, point people out. You know what I mean? There's some people who are willing to, like, sacrifice their career. Man, the Seals, for example, is like, fuck it. You know what I mean? I'm letting this AK fly. You know what I mean? For my spirit, because she can't sleep at night, and that's her choice. And I look at that, that's beautiful. And also, I think on top of that, also recognizing everybody's playing their position.
Mhm.
Candace Owens, she's gonna have her journey, and that's gonna be her journey. But look, at the end of the day, you had an open heart. She said something that resonated with you. And
Mhm.
that's the thing. Again, if we don't see each other, even if we don't share the same ideas, if we, again, it's humanity. Okay, what about you and your humanity that I can at least fine.
Yes.
Because the thing is, I don't want an echo chamber personally. You know what I mean? I don't want an echo because I want my ideas to be challenged. Because then it's like, okay, all right, well, do I still stand on this? Oh, I learned something new. My ideas changed a little bit. You know what I mean? Or adjusted, or like, you know what I mean? Or I might think the same, but now I've got a different perspective. Now it's like open, because the thing is, at the end of the day, we can't deport half the country. You know what I mean? We can't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like Hillary, you should have like articulated that differently. It cost you the election. But anyways, you know, but like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, at the end of the day, like I think if we don't see each other, you know what I mean. Even within cancel culture, you know what I mean. Some people need to be checked and for sure be held accountable for wild shit. Absolutely, but I feel like there are opportunities missed for someone to just grow and learn. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I love that you mentioned that because I was thinking that as well. That especially and as now that we're new into the activism world.
Mm,
I think for me it was 2015, 2016 that I really started, to wake up and pay attention. But especially within the activism world, there is a cancel culture that if you misstep, you get canceled. And it's not like a huge problem. It is a problem, but I think there needs to be an acceptance of someone learning and
hmm
forgiveness in that. And I I have been scared just in my own personal life to speak up on issues that I might not be 100% educated on. And I
hmm
think because of that fear of being canceled for
hmm
misspeaking on something.
hmm
And I know that if I misspeak on something, I want to be corrected.
Yeah.
Want someone to confront me in any way that they feel comfortable. If it is a polite, hey, check yourself, or if it's a listen up, bitch, check me, please correct me. I want to learn. But that fear of that cancellation or that retribution for saying something incorrectly, I really hope that, especially with what we're doing, that we are opening up that space, one for ourselves to learn, because that is my goal in life, is just to be perpetually learning and perpetually growing. But we want to now share that with other people. So we're hoping that this podcast, with our newsletter, with the books that we're publishing, that we're putting out things that can bring out the humanity or change people's minds or challenge something, uh, a, a belief of something. But also at the same time, please come back to us and please, correct me. And
Yeah.
I want more people to hopefully feel emboldened to be corrected and be okay with that.
Yeah, no, no, I definitely hear what you're saying. Like it, no, you're articulating it. I like I think, and what I agree is that because when you talked about like, oh, I'm afraid to say something that's different, that may not be conventional at the time. You know what I mean? That fear, I think on a larger scale, that fear creates a resentment.
Mm,
And in that resentment, now I don't care about your cause. You know what I mean? Now because the thing is, again, it's sort of like, okay, for example, I'll use my community for example. Look, I'm gonna make light skinned nigga jokes, man. I find that hilarious. They are gonna fly. But, but I will never take away their experiences as a black person. You know what I mean? One of my favorite scenes from Tracy Ellis Ross's Mixes was
mm,
she was having like an identity issue. She was like, "Am I black? Am I white? You know what I mean? My dad's white, my mom's black, right?" And she has a scene with her white father, and he's just like, "Oh, honey, you're black. Like, you're like I knew you were black when I took you to the mall, and no one believed you were my daughter." And that's a reality. You know what I mean? That's a real. So I'll never take away. Now the jokes are gonna fly, and usually my jokes, if you're not laughing with me, then I'll stop because now it's like I'm hurting you. You know what I mean? But that's just what it is. Again, it's like for the most part, and then you take that on a grand communal level to an extent. Most people want to just laugh and talk shit because world is hard enough. Like life is hard enough. Everybody's just trying to get by. You know what I mean? Sometimes we just want to escape. You know what I mean? and sometimes we don't want our entertainment to teach. You know what I mean? That's why there's room for reality TV. But again, it's like being conscious of what you're eat. Like fast food's great. Look, am I ever gonna give up like McDonald's permanently? No. Like there are times
I
I
agree with
want.
you on that one, but that's okay.
Like yeah, and like now I'll see maybe, but every once in a while I'm gonna want a 6 piece nugget, like you know what I mean. But I'm aware like if I eat it every day, that's terrible. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. It's like again choice. So it's like with people with people not being able to speak ideas. I think like when they gave Trevor Noah shit for having I forgot one of them like crazy Republican blondes on his shows and people were giving him flack, but he was like our audiences would have never heard each other's ideas.
Right.
And I think that's important. Again, we gotta see each other. We gotta see each other in a way. Like people got mad at the Breakfast Club for having Candace Owens on, and I'm like, no. Like the only reason I would be tight is like actually speak on things. Like they spoke on Dave Chappelle calling her an idiot, and I was like, but you guys didn't talk about why, and because you'd have to talk about George Floyd, and like if you're gonna have the conversation, have the whole conversation. You know what I mean? So that's my whole thing with that. But to have her not have a platform, fuck it. Everybody, look, man, everybody's gonna use the internet for their own plight. You know what I mean? But again, if we don't see each other, like you also got to be aware of what you're spreading. You know what I mean? Like Alex Jones definitely deserves the shit he's getting now for what he did with Sandra Hook. That was abhorrent, man. How do you tell a parent that her kid didn't really die? What? Like, you know what I mean? Like you deserve everything you're getting. You know what I mean? But now, if you want to say like, oh, the kids died over this thing, X, Y, and Z, sure. But like to say that it didn't happen at all, come on, that's dumb. That's dumb. So again, it's all about choice and the betterment of people. You know what I mean? And again, it's holding two ideas at once. Okay, I can hear this person out. I still think that's a dumb idea, and you're missing the point. You know what I mean? I think it's okay to like have both. You know what I mean? Have both. Like if I don't agree with an Amanda, like, what's your idea? Like I think the best lines from The West Wing was give me your next 10 words. You know what I mean? Like people can have ideas. It's like, oh, it's a genocide. What's the next word? It's like, okay, I'll tell you why. Because this happened, this happened, this happened, happened. Remember, Rockford, that was supposed to be a safe space. It's getting invaded, looking kind of bad. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's like okay, Israel has the right to defend themselves? Yes, absolutely. Have they gone too far? Yes, absolutely. Like you know what I mean? So it's two ideas that it's like people want to act like they can't walk and chew gum. Yes, you can. I promise you, you can. You know what I mean? It's like the internet's got us believing that it can't be, it has to be one or the other. It doesn't. It doesn't. Life's not that way. You know what I'm saying? Like does Jesse watch shit that she doesn't want to watch with Andrew? Of course she does. Does Andrew do the same? Like, yes, you know what I mean? So it's like, why? Because Andrew likes getting laid. So like, okay, so, so like, so but on a real scale, like it's like everybody's got to stop the bullshit. That's my whole point, man, and all of it. Everyone's got to stop the bullshit, man, because you see what's going on. You see what's going on in the world, and it needs to stop. It needs to stop. Like if you want to talk about X, Y, and Z, sure, I'll hear you out. But at the basis, kids shouldn't be afraid of their waking up. Kids shouldn't be afraid of waking up. Like a kid, and oh, because some of these videos, you see some of these Palestinian kids still find joy
Mm-hmm.
after everything they've gone through. I've seen some of these kids still find joy, still find to play with their soccer ball, and it's like, oh my God, how are you even doing that, man? Like, and then pleading on camera, like, hey, can you stop killing us? And meaning that,
Yeah.
like a baby shouldn't have to do that. That's an adult responsibility.
Yeah.
So if you can't see that, I don't know how to talk to you. You know what I mean? Then that's when I know, okay, fine, fuck it. We gotta talk about Marvel. Like me and this person can't talk. You know what I mean? Because this is where you stand in your humanity.
It's getting back to that connection, finding somewhere where you can connect with that person
Hmm.
to maybe take a tiny baby step forward to being closer to seeing humanity.
Yeah, and I think everybody's gotta. I think the best way is just being honest. Like move past your political ideas, move past like really like, and that's why I think sitting with yourself, whether you do it in prayer or whether like for me, it's all the same language. It's all the same language for me. You know what I mean? Prayer to me is talking to the source. Meditation is listening to the source. You know what I mean? But I think it's all energy and it's all connected and intention. You know what I mean? So it's like sitting with yourself. Even if you don't believe in anything, sitting with yourself is important because you just sit with your thoughts. You can go, why do I think this way?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, again, because people are surviving, people don't have time to sit. But fuck it, if you don't have an hour, give yourself 5 minutes. Give yourself 1 minute. Like, give yourself the time to really sit with yourself in a real way, so it can always go back to. Because you look at kids, I think kids are the best teachers. They're free. They're not worried about none of this bullshit until we tell them to worry about it. You know what I mean? Like until we project our stuff into it. You know what I mean? I'm healing from my mom's projections. You know what I mean? But my mom's had a hard life since she lost her mom as a kid. You know what I mean? So that trauma was passed down in many a ways. You know what I mean? So that's where the grace comes in because you learn your parents are human. Your parents are people. They're doing their best. My mom was my age, single mom, figuring it out with me. I couldn't even fathom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's gotta be, we gotta see each other because the thing is, I think that's how we advance. We advance. You know what I mean? I think humanity has just been stuck at this plateau forever. You know what I mean? And we're finally hitting a point where we're kind of like doing this.
Mm-hmm.
We're nowhere. We're still not where I feel humanity can be. Maybe we won't see it in our generation, and that's again with empathy, making choices for things that you may not see.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Being called an idiot if you're a college student, but hey, guess what? The people fighting in the civil rights movements were called idiots too,
Yeah.
like the same people who are quoting Martin Luther King called him a terrorist. You know what I mean? Now, those same people, because some of those same people are alive talking that, spewing that bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, and they talk about that one speech all the time, but there's other speeches that they never are talk about with Martin Luther King. You know what I mean? It's like once when you look at the Rainbow Coalition, you know what I mean? That was a unification within, like, for example, with Black Panthers. Black Panthers were demonized. You know what I mean? But what they were doing was advancement for people and for everybody. It started because you're gonna have your experience. Jesse, you're gonna have your experience as a woman. You know what I mean? Andrew, you're gonna have your experience as a man. We're gonna see our prism. We're gonna see the world through that experience. But then you're gonna have to see, okay, what is it like as a man, as a woman? It's like, okay, hey, I don't think, you know what? I don't have to worry about pads or tampons, but I think they shouldn't be that expensive. You know what I mean? Like I think I know I don't bleed, but I think my mama did. So like I think it'd be cool if like they could get that everybody can get access to that. That seems smart. You know what I mean? That seems smart. And you look at, for example, abortion. Most times, like yes, it's decisions, but sometimes people have abortions because they can't afford a kid,
Right.
and for you to not care about that
The
kid's
majority of the
well-being.
abortions are mothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the majority of women that have abortions are already mothers, and whether it's a non-viable pregnancy because you're getting pregnant later in life, or just don't want to have another child or can't have another child. And since becoming a mother,
That's what's saying.
my support for the woman's right to choose has grown exponentially. Like,
See, I love hearing that. I love hearing that because again, you're seeing it past yourself. You know what I mean? And
I love my children. I love my children to death. Preg- the pregnancy with the twins was the hardest fucking thing I have ever done in my entire life. Like, I would never wish that pain on my worst enemy. Like, it
whoa,
wrecked my body. And I love them. And I am so glad they are here. I am so glad that we are safe. Like, it all worked out great. But that, to force that on someone,
yeah.
it's inhumane. I
Yeah, I couldn't like I one of my best friends. Shout out to Jada. She had twins, and she talked about like she was like, yeah, dude, like there are times I couldn't breathe. Like the kids are like up against your lung. Like I go, wow, like
I mean,
oh
I'm not like super short, but I'm short. Like I'm
yeah,
5'2". Like I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
look I have a really small torso.
Mm.
Like, so they measure your belly like by weeks, right? So like 40 weeks, that's the end of the pregnancy normally.
Yeah.
Like, so they measure like size, they compare the size. By the time I gave birth to my twins, my belly was 52 weeks in size. That's a whole goddamn year.
Whoa.
Ass belly.
Holy shit. You
Right.
But even,
you
I mean,
you did that, Andrew. You
I
shot the
know.
club up.
You know what? Like to your point too, Lyndon. Like as a man, like I didn't have to go through that. I had to witness it, and it was hard to see my partner, have to do that. But like as a dude, like your example, like taxes and prices of like tampons and pads. Like I see, like it really opened my eyes to healthcare for women and like how like messed up that is. So even for just from my like position, I'm like, well, maybe it should be better.
Yeah, like because the pink tax is ludicrous. The pink is like is like the fact I because I grew up in the hood, so I had homegirls who were buying men's razors because they're like, yeah, it's cheaper. Like,
I still do.
She
I
does.
still do.
see,
Picked up
see what I'm
razors for
saying?
both of us a couple weeks ago, and it's just like, yeah,
Like, like the fact that women's razors are more expensive. It's like, what are we talking about?
Fundamentally, there's no difference.
no.
So I'm like, where is that initiative? Where is that, that hashtag of like, stop buying that shit and only buy the men's? Because it doesn't do anything different. It
Yeah,
literally
dude.
does nothing different.
Again, it's like I think one of the most important things is that we've got to be honesty about the lunacy. We've got to be honesty. There's got to be honesty about the lunacy because it's so vast.
Mm-hmm.
It's so within the constructs of our society that until like it's up to every generation has a choice
Mm-hmm.
because there are the people who chose not to march in the 60s,
Mm-hmm.
but they still had to live within the confines of the society. So every time they didn't speak up when they wanted to, that was a sacrifice for us. You know what I mean? Every time a woman stayed silent when she really shouldn't, that was a sacrifice she was making. You know what I mean? She might have not voiced it, but that's still a sacrifice. So again, everybody plays their position. There is one of my favorite lines from the Matrix saga is the path of the one is led by the many. You know what I mean? Because Neo can't do it by himself. He couldn't. He couldn't do it by himself. And I'm an anime fan. And most anime hero arcs, they can't. Like they find their strength from other people because they remind you of your greatness. Like all a great teacher is doing, any spiritual guru you follow, any one of these teachers are telling you you've got the light in you. You know what I mean? One of my favorite expressions in the Bible, it was in the spiritual expression of Christianity, is Jesus telling Peter to stand up. He's like, dude, you can do it too. Like he's so confident. Like he's like, yo, just stand up. Like you know what I mean? And Peter's like, yo, I'm drowning, and Jesus like, dude, you got it. Like if I can do it, you can. And that people forget that. I think even people forget Jesus' own humanity. I think it's uncomfortable for me, but Jesus on the cross is like, why have you forsaken me? He's questioning God. Jesus questioned God. Like people forget the human aspects of these stories. You know what I mean? Like he's like, I did everything. Like Mary was flirting for a long time, and I ain't even like ask her to touch my robe once. You know what I mean? Like allegedly, I think so, but that's like Da Vinci Code type shit.
Yeah.
Like I think he was just like, I know my daddy watching, but I can't help myself. but again, it's like these people are reminding you of your life. And to me, it's like when I look at empathy, for example, right? If I turn my back on a person, I'm turning my back on myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I might not understand every trans person's plight, but I understand they want to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
That seems fair. Like, you know what I mean? That seems like bare minimum. Like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? Like I think that's just where I live. And I also live in a world where I'm like, in comedy, everybody can be made fun of. Like that's just me. You know what I mean? I can hold both ideas for me. So it's like and let me tell your listeners, I've been to handcuffs 3 times, so take whatever I say with a grain of salt. I am no, I am no, like, no, no, I am no leader, okay? I'm just an asshole with thoughts, okay? So take me with a grain of salt. but I really but I truly believe that we just gotta have we gotta ask conversations. Just have conversations and be okay with having conversations. And at bare minimum, begin with this trans person is a human being, first and foremost. First and foremost, right? First and foremost. And the bathroom argument's ridiculous because you know what? I have a gay homie, so I went to like a party in WeHo, right? And like I was out there and they've got like non-binary bathrooms, right? Right? So you're in the bathroom with women, with trans people, like everybody. You know what happens in those bathrooms? Fucking nothing. You know what? Everybody just wants to pee. Everybody wants to pee in my like. No one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like we put so much. And again, I like what we see on the news. What's clickbait isn't the reality of like you talk to people. You know what I mean? You talk to people from these states. Most people just want to be seen to the degree that they're comfortable with and heard to the degree that they're comfortable with. That's it, man. That's it. Do people get OD? Of course they do. It's numbers. Humans, there's always going to be extremities on any topic. Any topic. There's always going to be extremities. You accept that? Okay. It's sort of like I do martial arts, right? When I practice knife cutting, when I'm practicing disarming someone with a knife, my teacher always tells me you're gonna get cut. Like you accept you're gonna get cut. Like, cause the shock of getting cut will fuck you up. You're gonna get fettered by it. You know what I mean? So when you understand that, oh, like things will happen. You know what I mean? That's why we practice with a shock knife. It doesn't like, but it gives you the sensation of what being cut feels like. You know what I mean? So like, it's to train your mind to get past that. So of course, there's always going to be people like it's sort of like when we talk about trans ideas, like some asshole bring up, oh, I heard about this kid who wants to be a cat. Shut the fuck up. That doesn't represent the whole, man. Like, you know that. You know that. You know that. You know that this site, this publication, for whatever fucking reason, posted this because some asshole like you was going to share it. When you understand the fucking game, you understand the fucking game. We all understand. Every outlet is ran by ads, is ran by, so there's money, ad dollars, and fucking news. So already there's a bias. If you understand that, then that's why I think journalism and full journalism is important. That's why I appreciate it. You know, they got this thing, but that's why I appreciated Vice so much. Vice would like interview both ideas and get full ideas, and then essentially they left it up to the audience member to be like, okay, you've got all the information. So I'd want all of our news outlets to just give us all the information
Right.
and then we make our news, but they can't afford to because again, sponsors. You know what I mean? We thought we got away from sponsors by cutting the cord. No, we fucking did it. We're on the internet. Ads are here now. Like South Park did the great episode about the ads. Like they're gonna follow us wherever the fuck we go. You know what I mean? So when we understand that people are being led by bias, okay, you can understand people's confirmation bias a little bit more, right? But at the end of the day, that's why I say like fuck everything you believe in. Fuck everything. Fuck God. Fuck all these ideas. What's your humanity? What's your value when it comes to the other person? Not your dogma. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I don't care what scripture you quote to me because even when you quote scripture to me, I'm like, what's the spirit behind? Because I'm looking at your actions. Because to me, are you living the embodiment of your word? You know, you watch certain people, and I mean actual Christians, not the extremists. Actual Christians, you go, oh yeah, that's someone who follows the ways of Jesus. Like you can feel it, like you're like, oh yeah, this person's like he wants betterment for people. You know what I mean? One of the best things I heard from The Simpsons, and it was a priest talking, and he was like, God is just love, grace, and flow and that's it. Everything else we put on top of we. It's basically like we all got plain slices, and then it's like, okay, what do you want on your pizza? I was like, for me, it was like, you know, Christianity makes a lot of sense. Not like the full of it. I'll take a little bit of Buddhist. That makes sense to me. You know what I mean? Because again, it's just basically about like, what do we see each other? You know what I mean? Because how you see God to me is irrelevant. It's how you treat people. It's really how you treat people. It's like for me, I'm like the Joseph Campbell of it all. You know what I mean? I look at all religions are true because all that's why I look at them as myths and stories because I feel like what's the spirit behind those ideas and it's this. I mentioned Jesus telling Peter to stand up. all Krishna, Jesus, Buddha, all these people are reminding you, you've got it. You've got it. I'll show you. I'll show you. I'll give you an idea. Like, cool. But all it is, you find the answers within, because that's one of the best decisions I've ever made is just following my inner voice. And that's what's led to like a lot of my successes in my career so far. You know what I mean? Do I still have to work a 9 to 5 to pay bills right now? Yes, but I'm still again I get to go to sleep with, you know what I mean, with great people. But I've been in the same rooms with big league producers who like me. You know what I mean? So again, it's like my journey's slower than most, but I'd rather do it that way than live in a way where I can't sleep at night. I don't want to live a life that way. You know what I mean? Like people cracked on J. Cole for ducking out, but I'm like, if you really felt that way, if you couldn't sleep, y'all don't know what it's like not sleeping. Like tossing and turning's like something else. If you felt he had to duck off and then you saw a graphic the beef got, then you're like, you know what?
He did the right thing.
He made the right
Man,
choice.
yeah, then he's like, you know what? He was like, y'all, I know these niggas, y'all don't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? So everybody's got to make a choice for themselves. But I think the foundation what's gonna serve you best is honoring Alan Watts asked us the question, show me the face before you were born. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's who are we when the career is gone, when the acolytes are gone, when the dogma's gone, when the philosophy's gone. Who are you really, and what do you stand for? And can you live with that? Or is there something in the back of your head that's like, this doesn't feel right? I could do better. And then and then you start from there, and then whatever inkling you take, you take. But you gotta be honest. Like I'd rather just start with honesty and truthfulness. And again, that's varying for people. But the one thing for sure is that when we walk down the street and an old lady falls, everybody rushes to help her. Let's start from there. Let's start from there. Whatever else you want to fill it with, fine. When you hear a baby crying in the middle of the street, and someone's like, "Oh, where the fuck is this kid mom?" You know what I mean? Like that's an instinct.
Yeah.
Infants, when they're not cradled, they die. So like our higher consciousness is telling us at the basis is love. We will thrive better when we move from a place of love. We've seen it. We've seen where greed takes us. Like if people want data on greed, we got all of it. You know what I mean? We've got all the data on green. We had an oil spill in the fucking ocean. You know, we let the ocean on fire. So we must be doing great. Like, you know what I mean? So again, it's like we have evidence of where greed takes us. Now, how about we challenge ourselves and say, what's the other option like? Where does this take us? Where does this take us? And it's gonna take voices like yours. It's gonna take voices like a Jay-Z and Beyonce who's their position for the, you know what I mean? Everybody's gonna play at whatever level they're gonna play. You know what I mean? Like Jay-Z got a lot of bullshit when he went and worked with the NFL, but I'm like, he's changing it from the inside. And then next thing you know, years later we got Usher at the Super Bowl. Like that doesn't happen without, you know what I mean? And of course you got to Colin Kaepernick to be able to audition. You know what I mean? But then, you know, there's still systemic bullshit there, so you never got a job because that was gonna happen. But at least the chance would have never happened. You know what I mean? So it's like everybody's gonna play their position from whatever place they can play through. But it's like, what are you gonna do with your opportunity and choice? We can judge anybody. We can judge the Oprahs. We can judge The Rock. We can judge we're like, oh, why are they asking us for our money? But it's like at least they're doing something. Again, it's moving past our own stuff. You know what I mean? To see past our own pains. Empathy is a muscle. I don't take it lightly. It's a muscle. It's not a change of heart tomorrow. Healing and all none of this anybody who ever packages healing or acceptance and like a fucking soundbite type of is a fucking con artist. You know what I mean? None of this shit is like easy. You know what I mean? For someone who's Israeli to really look at a Palestinian and see themselves is hard because all you can hold on to is what happened is on October 7th. You know what I mean? But that's that same person on the street who holds on to his uncle dying from a drive-by. I have to get them back. Eventually, it's choice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to continue it? Because guess what? The person you take the life of has people who love them too. So it's like, okay, do you want to continue this cycle? Someone has to say enough is enough. In spirituality, we had the I call it the physical manifestation of God in many ways. You know what I mean? From the different sun gods, from ideas of Jesus that were before the idea of Jesus. When you look into history, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, that's the same story. It doesn't matter if the names are different or not. You know what I mean? Again, what are these stories trying to tell you? At the end of the day, if we don't see each other, it's gonna cost. It's gonna keep us in hell. Like right now we're watching humanity's in hell. Like we don't have to die to experience what hell or heaven is. It's the experience of living. Like hell, like when they talk about hell or heaven on earth, it's experience. You know what I mean? So what are we choosing to create? What is the collective consciousness choosing to create in its manifestation? And again, it's like, and there's always going to be juxtaposed ideas because that's the human experience. But what are we pushing towards? And who's going to be, and people are going to make their choice and be like, nah, I'm going to be on this side. This makes sense to me. Okay. If you can live with that, that's fine. But I'd rather find like-minded individuals who want to push this conversation forward,
Mm-hmm.
who want to hold multiple ideas, who want to see nuance in humanity, who want to see uh, people live, who want to see people break out of like poverty. We want to see that like the untouchables. Like if we look at like when the Ebola virus happened, right, and it spread, right, it was easy to ignore that it was happening over there. You know what I mean? But if you learn anything from like the coronavirus, from the Ebola, is that the untouchables of society, when they are kept unkept, it affects us all,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
whether in the instant or eventually it affects us all. So when you look at crime rate, why does crime happen? Lack of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you can keep using that. You can keep fucking using the idea of Chicago black on black crime. Black on black crime is a fucking dog whistle if I've ever heard one. It's about vicinity. Okay. There's white on white crime that happens all the time. There's a bunch of documentaries on, Bill Dahmer. You know what I mean? So like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like stop it. You know what I mean? Why does that happen? Again, it goes back to the idea of choice, of keeping that circle going, that cycle going, and also there's lack of opportunity. So I don't want to talk crime if you're not going to talk about if we're not going to have full conversations in society, we're missing the point.
Yeah.
Like that's where I'm at with it, man.
I love it.
I love it. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I think I answered your question somewhere in there.
Yes. No, I love it. I love the conversation. We need more. We need more of this.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Keep it
Oh,
going. We're gonna wrap up soon because I have
Yeah.
to go get my son from school.
and our kids
oh,
will not allow
But-
us to.
But please, give all your plugs. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Where do we find your music? Where do we find you on social?
awesome. Well, I released an EP called Alchemy. It's Lyndon Laveau's Alchemy. It's on every streaming platform. You can look me up on Lyndon Laveaux on any streaming platform, on Twitter, on Instagram, now on TikTok. I finally got a TikTok reluctantly, but it was the fact that the ban was gonna happen. I was like, hey, don't tell me what to fucking do. I don't know. Somebody like as progressive as I can be in ideas, there are some ideas that I can be very, very stubborn in. I'm like, what? Nah. Fine, fine. You gonna tell me I can't download this shit? Watch me download this shit. So like, and also, again, TikTok was like this generation's way of spreading information, like the Vietnam War. You know what I mean? We need these platforms. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I still call it Twitter. I know it's X, but Twitter.
If Elon Musk's going to keep dead naming one of his kids, we're going to keep dead naming his failing platform.
There you go. I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of Elon, man, talk about like that nigga. Like, you want to talk about like hiding? You know what I mean? Like the rockets. You know what I mean? Going into space, large rockets. I don't know. Feels very compensating for some, but I'm gonna let my nigga live. You know what I mean? But it's I don't know. It's always strange to me people being called genius for like other people's ideas. But that's all that that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other thing. You know what I mean? But I digress. He does his thing. There's some good in him, but we all know ego games when we see it, dog. Like, come on, let's be real right now. But anyways, that was your question. Plug me, Lyndon Laveaux on everything. You guys can find me on different platforms, and I'll have new music coming out with Tez. Coming out soon. Rocky So Crazy. Everybody part of my swag via camp from the track burners, Nathan Bankson, a bunch of people. Garrett, Cousin, all these people who helped my dream come true. Thank you for working with someone like me. I'm grateful for the people who kept me in the studio, even though I couldn't afford to, but they were like, you're talented enough. We're going to make sure you still get to record. So I'm very grateful. I can't do this by myself. As a recording artist, you learn you can't do it by yourself. I love my team, and I'm grateful for people like you who bring me on their platform to talk my shit. So thank you.
Awesome.
Happy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all, man.
I know. Thank you so much for coming on. Hopefully, we'll have you on again. There's still so much more.
I was like, we need like a part 2, a part 3 eventually. You'll be
back. No, it would be my absolute pleasure. Thank you guys for having me, and thank you guys for what you're doing, for the information you guys are spreading. Like, cause I think as long as people understand truly what's going on behind the veil, you know what I mean. When we look at paradigms on different scales are shifting, and you guys are part of the conversation. Thank you for being part of it. You know what I mean.
So are you. All right, man. You take it easy.
You as well. Take care.
Thank you.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to our episode with our May author spotlight, the fabulous Lyndon Laveaux. We had such a great time talking with him. We could talk with him for days, obviously. I'm sure we'll have him on again. Mm-hmm. So if you liked what you listened to, please like, subscribe, give shout outs. Yeah. That's our 2-year-old son. Just woke up from his nap. Moxie Press on all socials.
That's it. I think.
Moxie Press on all socials.
Search it. You'll find us. Look for our beautiful faces.
And look out for our next episode, which will be. Look out for our next episode. Look out for our next episode, which will be a chapter.
It'll be an excerpt from our book, Silly American. We're going to talk all about it.
Until then, lead with Moxie.